There have been so many players in this NBA season who've had incredible years thus far. And in this episode, we really want to spotlight Jayson Tatum of the Boston Celtics. And the question that I have for you, Treston, is if Jayson Tatum finishes his career with the Celtics, where will he fall on the all-time Celtic list?
That's a good question, because there's definitely been a lot of good Celtics over the years. They're, what did you say? They're the most
winningest franchise in the history of the NBA.
So obviously, it's a lot of people in line. Does he have the potential to be one of the greatest Celtics? Him being 24, the numbers that he's putting up right now, compared to the other greats, I think he can do it. He can do it.
Become the best?
He could become the best Celtic, in my opinion. But let's break it down, though.
Okay.
What accolades does he need to become the best? Is it an accolade thing, or is it a skill thing, or a level of dominance?
Let's pull up the accolades. So when we look at the leaderboard here, you got Bill Russell, you got Larry Bird, obviously, John Havlicek, Kevin McHale, Paul Pierce. You can see their total rings, total MVPs, total All-Stars, best points per game season. Obviously, Jayson Tatum is putting up better numbers than any Celtic in history if he finishes the season with these numbers. He's young, 24, but when you see those numbers, you're saying Jayson Tatum could pass Larry Bird and pass Bill Russell as the greatest Celtic of all time.
The biggest thing he has to do is, of course, win a championship. Larry Bird, in my opinion, is the greatest Celtic, mainly because his level of dominance as a Celtic.
Level of dominance as a Celtic, Bill Russell has 11.
You
mean dominance like, you don't mean, when you say dominance, what do you mean?
I think, no discredit to anybody who played in Bill Russell's era, I don't think none of them were good. Like, Bill Russell himself had talent. He was of course he exceeded a lot of the players that he was playing against. But again, a lot of things were very black and white back then. And I got to do a little bit more research, but for a black player to be in the NBA during that time, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of other Bill Russells out there. So that's where, moving forward in the 80s when Larry's playing, there's a lot more competition. And for him to be a white guy playing ball against, these other guys who are athletically better than him, faster, stronger, whatever it was, he still managed to put up 29 points a game. So, and get rings and 3 MVPs. So that's a tough
argument
measurement.
For Larry Bird is basically era.
Yes.
Because the stats don't back it up. It's strictly when he played.
Yeah, because if we was talking about stats, Wilt Chamberlain would be the best player.
But
if you think about
Celtics, though. We're talking
Celtics.
Celtics.
Yeah.
So I think that's tough.
Yeah.
I can't put Larry Bird over Bill Russell just because he's the winningest player in the history of the league. So he's won more championships than anybody, and I doubt anybody's going to take that record. Now, he did it in a time when there was only 8 teams in the league.
And I was going to say, how many teams were in the league?
So that's fair.
Yeah.
But out of respect for those who built the game, I feel like Bill Russell's one who has been a legacy player for the NBA for a long time. I think there's a debate that he's a top. He has a debate for the best player of all time just because he has the most championships. He's not, but he has the conversation others don't have. Yeah. So I put Bill Russell over Larry Bird. But I do agree that Jayson Tatum could pass Bill Russell and Larry Bird and be the greatest Celtic of all time. I think he'd have to do a lot. It starts with winning a championship.
Yeah.
And it starts with winning multiple championships because you can't pass Larry Bird or Bill Russell unless you get more championships than 3. So Tatum's 24. He's got about a decade.
Yeah.
They just went to the championship. They have a great culture. They have a great team. They could win this year. They'll be in the championship window for probably 5 to 10 years at this point. So he's averaging more points than any Celtic ever.
He's in a very peak season.
I put him in the conversation. Yeah.
I like you said, I agree too. But it feels weird to jump the gun because again, he has not won anything. But you can see as far as I think we get a little bit overshadowed by the skill and the level of how they play, and I mean, it's a difference now. So it's going to take some time.
He's such a like roll some Tatum highlights because he is such a complete basketball player.
Yeah.
When you watch him play, he has every aspect of the game. He plays defense at an elite level. He can shoot the ball at an elite level. He attacks the rim at an elite level. He's just a perfect basketball player. When you watch him play, I'm like, he does nothing wrong on the court. He's just making the right decision consistently. He's not as flashy as some of the other guys.
Yeah.
He has some of those major highlights and dunks and things like that, but his game is more smooth and fluid. And the reason I think this conversation should be had to put Jayson Tatum in that conversation with some of the Celtic greats is I think the NBA is the best it's ever been. And I think when you start to have these type of discussions, we can see that in the talent level of the players and the statistics of the players. Just, it's a global game now.
Yeah.
There's more talent in the world that knows about basketball. Naturally, the elevation of talent will go up. And I think we should be looking at Jayson Tatum as one of the greatest, if not, we'll say one of the greatest Celtics of all time already, with potential to be the greatest.
Got you. I agree. But first, like you said, Jayson got to show me something. He got to win.
Got to win.
So let's just say this. If he never wins, what does that put him at?
Where he is now, which is not above any of them.
Okay. And like at the bottom of the barrel, like would he be better than Paul Pierce, who does have a ring?
It depends. If he doesn't get a single ring, the circumstances depend. I think he'll be better than Paul Pierce, even without a ring, actually.
Yeah.
Just because he's a better basketball player than Paul Pierce. Statistically on every level.
Yeah.
Paul Pierce had Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett to win that championship. He did win Finals MVP, but I think Jayson Tatum will be better than Paul Pierce. I think he'll be better than Kevin McHale. I think he'll be better than John Havlicek. I think Larry Bird or Bill Russell's where he's going to struggle to break it.
The measurement,
Yeah.
I agree.
So what do you guys think? We would love to hear what you think about Jayson Tatum and the Celtics. Is this a blasphemous conversation that we're having, or is Jayson Tatum actually in the conversation for the greatest or one of the greatest Celtics of all time? What do you think?
Let us know. Drop it in the comments.